Today is a special day, my father's milestone birthday. He turns 50 years old, half a century of life, most of which he has dedicated to us, his children. I am the eldest in the family, and I'll soon be 25. I have two sisters, Susan, who is 23, and Olivia, who recently turned 21. We have always been close despite all the hardships. Father raised us alone. Mom disappeared when I was 9. Her absence left a deep mark on our lives. There was an investigation, and suspicions fell on my father, but the case hit a dead end. No evidence of his involvement was found. He stayed with us, alone, facing grief and responsibility. Father raised us with love, speaking of Mom with warmth, as if carefully preserving her memory in our hearts. He never sought a partner, dedicating his entire life to us. He lived with us until we, his children, began to gradually branch off, as he puts it. I met Jessica when I was 22, and now we've been together for 3 years. We rent a house, save for a mortgage, and make plans for the future. Susan, the smartest among us, left home before I did. She got into university on a scholarship and now lives in Perth, the capital of our state, Western Australia. We, on the other hand, stayed in the small town of Mandurah, about 70 kilometers from the capital. Olivia, the youngest, also recently moved out of our father's house. She rents a place nearby with her boyfriend, and so father was left alone in the big house that was once filled with our voices, laughter, and sometimes tears. He often says he would be happy if one of us returned, that there's enough room for everyone. But we, his children, want to live our own lives, even though we understand that living with him would be more economical. My father runs a small company that installs air conditioners and fences. I've been working with him for 5 years now, and you could say it's our family business. But besides that, father has an amazing hobby that not only brings him joy, but also a decent income. He has a huge garden full of fruit trees. You might think, what's so special about that? In our climate, it's not surprising. But you'd be wrong. My father's garden is something incredible. You won't find avocados, mangoes, olives, plums, cherries, papayas, dragon fruit, figs, kiwis, nectarines, pomegranates, grapes, guavas, and much more like his anywhere else. It's the result of years of selective breeding, using a special method he developed himself. He sells not only the surplus harvest, but also saplings, which are in high demand. Some specimens are waited for years, and people are willing to pay a lot of money for them. Father instilled in me a love for gardening, and I dream of the day when I'll have my own garden. For now, I help him twice a year, in spring and autumn, when thousands of tasks need to be done over the course of a week to keep the garden thriving. But today, we're in for a surprise. Father is going to introduce us to a woman who, as he says, has made him happy. We're all thrilled for him. He deserves this, to be happy, to find love. Whoever she is, we'll accept her. After all, what matters most to us is that our father, who has given us so many years of his life, finally finds his own happiness. But enough distractions, let me get back to today. Today is Wednesday, and on Wednesdays, we receive the local free newspaper, the Mandurah Times. I don't know who actually reads it. It's just tossed onto the driveway near the mailbox, wrapped in a plastic bag. As far as I know, most people throw it straight into the trash. Why do they still publish it? Is it really still profitable? It's just a little ad-filled paper with a sprinkle of local news. In this age of the internet, such a waste of trees to produce paper that goes straight into the garbage bin honestly irritates me. I woke up early, as usual, to the sound of light rain. I had the day off, as did my girlfriend, Jessica. She had planned a grand kitchen endeavor. Her plans included making several salads, a pie, and a cake for the celebration table. My father insisted we shouldn't stress ourselves, suggesting we just order everything we needed and let him handle the barbecue. But that's not our style. We all enjoy bringing something homemade, made with love, to the festive table. The gathering was set for 1 p.m. My plan for the day included a haircut. I was badly in need of one. Usually I get a trim every 3 weeks, but lately I've been so swamped with work that I hadn't visited the barber in 6 weeks. Normally I book an appointment with my barber, Ali, a couple of days in advance, but today I'd have to take my chances and walk in without one. Jessica was busy in the kitchen, and a mix of delightful aromas wafted from there. She wouldn't let me in, saying that, like a true artist, she needed silence and focus. I took the dog for a walk, mowed the lawn, tossed the Mandurah Times into the trash bin, and killed time browsing the news. My barbershop opened at 10 a.m., and I was determined to get a haircut. After all, today was a special day, Father's birthday, meeting his new partner, reuniting with Susan, whom we hadn't seen in a year, and the announcement of our younger sister Olivia's pregnancy. My head was spinning just thinking about all these events. It was going to be epic. I imagined Olivia bustling in the kitchen, while Susan was surely already at Father's house, decorating it with flags and balloons. At 10 a.m., I headed toward the Forum Shopping Center, the largest mall in our town. To my surprise, Ali greeted me right at the door of his barbershop and said he'd been waiting for me. I thought it was just politeness, and replied that I'd been hoping to catch him free. In truth, I was incredibly relieved. What luck, to get a walk-in appointment with someone who doesn't need any explanations. Ali invited me to take a seat and handed me a copy of the Mandurah Times. Funny, I thought. Usually during a haircut, I scroll through short videos on my phone, but I realized I'd left it at home. The newspaper became my savior. Honestly, I'd never actually read it before, and Ali, though a master of his craft, spoke very little English. He simply did his job, silently, but better than anyone else. He didn't need to ask questions. He just knew what you wanted and cut your hair perfectly. I settled comfortably into the chair. Ali wrapped a white corrugated strip around my neck, then draped me with a plastic cape to keep the cut hair from sticking to my clothes. I slipped my hands out over the cape, holding the newspaper in one of them. I placed it on my lap and was about to ask Ali if he remembered how I usually like my haircut, but before I could turn around, he gently tilted my head toward the mirror. Making sure I was looking at him through the reflection, he gestured toward the newspaper with his eyes and waved his scissors in the air above my head, mimicking a haircut. I got the hint. He wanted me to be distracted while he quietly went about his work without unnecessary chatter. That suited me just fine. I'm not much of a talker anyway, and besides, Ali always remembered his clients and their preferences. All right, I decided to open the newspaper, but my attention was immediately drawn to an ad on the front page. At the bottom was a bright banner from a car dealership advertising a new model of a well-known brand at a very attractive price. My girlfriend, Jessica, had been wanting to change her car for a while, and we'd been considering this exact brand. The ad featured a photo of the car, the price, and the address of the dealership. To the side, like a little puzzle, was a black square with a QR code and the words, "Zoom, Zoom." I absent-mindedly touched it with my finger, and for a moment, it seemed like the square expanded. Feeling a bit silly, I swiped my fingers across the black area, like you do when zooming in on a smartphone or tablet screen. I felt like a fool, but then the square actually started to grow. I couldn't believe my eyes. The background turned white and the text turned black. The square expanded about 3 times its size, revealing a small block of text. Grand opening of the new supermarket. Ulta. Dear residents of our city, we are thrilled to announce the opening of the first Ulta supermarket, which will open its doors in the former Kohl's location at the Mandurah Forum. Ulta is a new retail chain in Australia, offering its signature eco-friendly products at affordable prices. Opening date, March 19, 2025. Hours, 8 a.m., 9 p.m. What we've prepared for you: a wide range of products, fresh produce, fruits and vegetables, pet supplies, in-house baked goods, household chemicals, cosmetics, and much more. All products are exclusively locally made, environmentally friendly, and GMO-free. Special offers and discounts during the first month of opening. Comfortable shopping conditions, modern checkouts, spacious aisles, and convenient trolleys. Celebration events, unique promotions and prize giveaways on opening day. Treats and gifts for all visitors on opening day. Fun contests for kids. Join us in celebrating this special occasion. Discover a new level of shopping at Ulta. With love, the Ulta Supermarket team. I stared at the text, unable to believe my eyes. Jessica works at this very Kohl's and she hadn't mentioned a word about any changes. Today's her day off, but yesterday she worked her shift as usual. Such changes don't happen overnight. The Coles supermarket chain is one of the largest in Australia. Why would they close their store in the biggest shopping centre in our town for some new chain? It all seemed incredibly strange. Today is Wednesday, March 19th. Ads for the newspaper are unlikely to be submitted the day before publication. Our town is small, and an event like this couldn't have happened in complete secrecy, especially without the employees of Coles knowing. I reread the announcement. Everything was correct, no mistake. Ali interrupted my thoughts, letting me know the haircut was done and I was looking sharp again. I thanked him, paid at the counter, and left the barber shop in complete bewilderment. My thoughts were tangled, and one question kept spinning in my head. What the hell is going on? I wandered toward the new supermarket, hoping it was all just someone's stupid joke. Damn newspaper, what's wrong with it? Or maybe it's me. Is something wrong with me? Could my mind be playing tricks, making me see things that can't be real? With these thoughts swirling, I approached the location. Cheerful rhythmic music came from around the corner, and then a space decorated with white and red balloons opened up before my eyes. On a small stage stood a white rabbit with a microphone. Well, you get it. It was a person in a fluffy white rabbit costume. Around them danced a dozen rabbits, some white, some red. It seemed to be some kind of dance competition for kids. Children with balloons and rabbit ears, some white, some red, diligently copied the moves of the people in costumes. The white rabbit on stage cheerfully encouraged them. The whole scene felt eerie, like something out of a strange dream. I looked up, where the sign for Coles used to be, and saw a huge white lettering on a red background. Alter. If you're not aware, Coles had the opposite, white background with red letters. A red rabbit ran up to me, handed me a flyer, and invited me to participate in some kind of raffle. I politely declined and decided to go inside. I wasn't planning to buy anything, but since I was here, I figured I might as well check out the new supermarket. I noticed the shopping carts were of a different design, two-tiered and oval-shaped. I'd never seen anything like them before. Inside the store, it smelled pleasantly of cinnamon, vanilla, and nutmeg. Probably their bakery, I thought, remembering the announcement. The fruit and vegetable section opened up before me. The selection and appearance of the produce amazed me. Everything was unrealistically large. The colors of the fruits and vegetables were strikingly vibrant, and the aroma was intoxicating. The tomatoes smelled like tomatoes, and the apples like apples. Miracles, I thought. Where is all this grown? I made my way to the dairy aisle and froze again. All the packaging was in red and white. Every milk carton, yogurt, cream and sour cream bore the same brand, Alter. I turned into the sweets section. The same styling prevailed. All the packaging was red and white with simple names like Alter chocolate with nuts, Alter oatmeal cookies, and so on. I quickened my pace. I was starting to feel like I was losing my mind. A massive supermarket where everything was packaged in red and white. Stripes, checks, polka dots, waves, geometric patterns, all branded Alter. Throughout the store, there were promotional stands where cute red and white rabbits offered samples or encouraged shoppers to take products home. I reached the household chemicals, cosmetics, and shampoo aisles. Naturally, everything was packaged in red and white. What the hell? Where is all this red and white nonsense being produced on such a scale? I was almost gasping for air, my vision swimming. I hurried toward the exit, but soon found myself lost among the endless shelves. There were so many aisles that I realized I couldn't find the way out. It felt like I was trapped in an infinite maze. Then I noticed the people inside. From a distance, they looked completely normal, but as I got closer to ask for directions to the exit, I noticed something strange. Their eyes were too far apart, their bodies oddly proportioned. Some with overly long arms, others with very short legs. Their clothes were mostly red and white, faded as if bleached by the sun. I approached a stand where one of the white rabbits was offering freshly squeezed carrot juice. He immediately handed me a plastic cup and began praising the juice's organic origins. I took the cup, thanked the rabbit, and as casually as possible asked where the checkout counters were. After all, where there are checkouts, there's an exit, right? The rabbit seemed surprised that I hadn't picked anything yet, but already wanted to check out. His voice sounded slightly irritated. I said my wife had the cart and was waiting for me at the checkout, but I'd gotten lost. The rabbit waved vaguely in a direction and said, "I hope you enjoyed our store. Have a great day." I forced a smile, feeling cold sweat trickling down my back, and moved in the direction he'd indicated, hoping this strange, endless labyrinth would finally let me go. I tried not to look at the other shoppers. Every time my gaze accidentally met theirs, it felt like they'd been waiting for it. I had the sensation that all eyes in this place were fixed on me, as if I were an unwelcome intruder in their bizarre red and white world. I finally reached the checkout area and was heading for the exit when a red rabbit grabbed my arm. He began insistently pushing some kind of discount card on me. Trying to stay calm, I said I'd come back in a week and happily sign up, but I needed to hurry now. But the rabbit wouldn't let up. He whined, pleaded, insisted that today was a super special promotion, only on opening day, and I'd regret it if I missed out. The card, he explained, wasn't just valid at their Alta supermarket, but also at many other places I'd discover in the future, and I'd be pleasantly surprised. It was becoming unbearably annoying. I politely repeated that I really didn't have time, but the rabbit, as if not hearing me, started dancing in front of me, clasping his paws in a begging gesture. People around us watched the scene with curiosity. "Just your name, sir. All I need is your name," he insisted, his voice like a grating tune I couldn't escape. "My name's Sam," I blurted out, hoping this would finally make him leave me alone. A tablet instantly appeared in the rabbit's paws. He must have pulled it from his pocket while talking my ear off. He handed it to me. On the screen were 6 red rectangles. "Choose your card, Sam," the rabbit said cheerfully. I tapped one of the rectangles. The card on the screen flipped over, revealing the number 2. "Level 2, Sam, you'll never regret this. This is fantastic, congratulations," the rabbit exclaimed, his voice ringing as if he'd just handed me a golden ticket. He gave me a plastic red card with white lettering, Alta 2. People around me applauded. A whisper spread through the crowd.
Level 2, level 2.
I took the card from his paw, shoved it into my pocket, muttered, "Thanks," and hurried toward the exit, my heart pounding in my chest. At the supermarket entrance, the celebration continued. Kids with balloons and rabbit ears laughed, parents smiled, and on the stage, the white rabbit kept hyping up the crowd. I squeezed through the throng, as if pushing through a thick fog, and headed for the escalator leading to the parking lot. The rain had stopped, and a cool breeze filled the air. I paused to catch my breath, letting the chilly wind brush against me. Slowly, I made my way across the parking lot to the other entrance of the shopping center, where I'd left my car. Everything that had happened refused to make sense. It felt like a sticky, nightmarish dream from which I was only just beginning to wake. But the card in my pocket, cold and solid, was a reminder. This was real, and something told me this was only the beginning. I returned home. The clock in the kitchen showed 10:45. Wait, flashed through my mind. I had left the house exactly at 10. By 10:10, I should have been at the barber shop. By 10:30, the haircut should have been done. Then that damn Alta, where I'd spent what felt like 40 minutes. Plus another 10 minutes to get home, maybe 5 more while I wandered through the parking lot to my car. This was insane. I found my phone and checked the time. 10:46, what was going on? My mind raced. How long had I actually been in that devilish supermarket? Had I even been there at all? I pulled the plastic rectangle from my pocket. It was undeniably real.
Nice haircut, Sam. You look brand new,
Jessica said, smiling. "Sweetheart, when do you work next? Tomorrow, or did you take 2 days off?" I asked as casually as I could.
Honey, you know no one's giving me 2 days off. Of course, I have to be on shift tomorrow. Why are you asking?
Just thought it'd be great if we all went fishing tomorrow as a family. We haven't done that in a long time, and Susan's here too.
Yeah, that would be great, but unfortunately, not this time. Go without me.
I tossed the card into the desk drawer and went online. I started scrolling through local news, then tried to find any information about the Alta retail chain. As you can guess, it was all in vain. "Great, Sam. Looks like you're losing your mind," I thought with a bitter smirk. By 1 in the afternoon, we arrived at my father's house. Music and laughter echoed from the yard, so everyone was already here. We were greeted by Alpha, my father's old German shepherd, wagging her tail excitedly as she welcomed us first. Jessica and I grabbed a large plastic container filled with salads, a pie, and various snacks and headed to the backyard. At the big table sat my father, Olivia with her boyfriend, and Susan. Susan rushed over to Jessica and me, and we hugged. Then my father came up, and we embraced him tightly, wishing him a happy birthday. Next were Olivia and her boyfriend. His name is Alex. I asked him to come with me to the car to unload the gift for my father. 2 months ago, I had ordered a beautiful cast-iron arch for climbing roses. My father had long dreamed of one, but never got around to buying it. The arch was huge and heavy. Alex and I barely managed to drag it to the backyard. When my father saw it, he even teared up. He was as happy as a child. Finally, his beautiful roses would have a worthy frame. Time flew by. It had been a long time since we'd all sat together like this at one table. My father mentioned that Marie would arrive by 6:30 in the evening. We were all eagerly waiting for her. She worked as a nurse at our local hospital, and her shift ended at 6. We were all a little tipsy by then, except for Olivia. She couldn't drink, as she was expecting her first child. When my father's phone rang, he announced that Marie would be there in 5 minutes. He went to the gate to meet her, while we continued our endless conversations, laughing and savoring the moment, which felt so rare and precious. When my father and Marie appeared before us, we, his children, were utterly stunned. For a moment, time seemed to stand still. Marie was the spitting image of our missing mother, only about 15 years older. My father introduced us and began doting on her, as if trying to ease the awkwardness. Marie seemed a little embarrassed, as did we. The conversation gradually became more relaxed. She turned out to be kind, talkative, and with a sharp sense of humor. But inside, something gnawed at me. The anxiety I'd almost forgotten after the morning's events came rushing back. I glanced furtively at Susan and Olivia, but they didn't seem troubled. Maybe it was just my mind playing tricks again, or maybe they didn't remember our mother as vividly as I did. I was 9 when she disappeared, and if it weren't for her photos, I probably wouldn't remember her features so clearly. My sisters were much younger, but what bothered me most was something else. Marie was wearing red pants and a white blouse. Maybe it was paranoia, but after what I'd been through that morning, this detail wouldn't leave me alone. After a while, I went to the kitchen to grab something from the fridge. Susan followed me.
Sam, is it just me, or do you see it too?
She asked quietly. Sue, honestly, I've never been so creeped out. Her figure, her mannerisms, her voice, her hair, not to mention her face.
Sam, that's not all. I got here early this morning, and while I was decorating and tidying up, I noticed there's not a single photo of Mom anywhere. There are plenty of our photos, but none with her. I didn't want to ask Dad and ruin his celebration, but now I don't know what to think.
Yeah, Sue, this is all really strange. We need to talk to Olivia. Let's meet tomorrow and discuss everything. There's something else I need to tell you both. I can't even share what I've been through with Jessica, at least not right now.
I'm here for 3 days, so we'll have time. We've already agreed on the fishing trip tomorrow, so let's save our conversation for the day after. For now, let's just observe.
Sue said, and we returned to the table. I remembered that earlier in the morning, while mowing the lawn, I realized the battery was almost dead and wanted to borrow a new one from my father. He had plenty of them. I mentioned it to him, and he suggested I take what I needed from the shed. I headed there, turned on the light, and approached the shelf with the batteries. My father always had a lot of tools, both for gardening and repairs. I often borrowed things from him when I needed them. After picking out the battery of the right brand, I was about to leave when something caught my eye in the corner of the shed, under the shelves. I walked closer, and a wave of nausea hit me. Huge stacks of Mandurah Times newspapers were neatly arranged on 2 pallets. Why? Why had my father been collecting and storing these newspapers? How many years had he been hoarding them? I picked up the top newspaper from the pile. It was today's issue. I carefully touched the black square with the words, "Zoom, zoom," but nothing happened. I tried again, but the paper remained just paper. Then I grabbed the top newspaper from the neighboring stack and checked the date, 2020. I put it back and hurried out. It was around 8 in the evening when we started getting ready to leave. We agreed to meet tomorrow at 7 in the morning at the pier where my father's boat was docked and head out for fishing. I returned home feeling deeply unsettled. I was now certain this wasn't just my mind playing tricks. Something truly strange and frightening was happening, and I needed to figure out what it was. My girlfriend Jessica was already asleep. She had to get up early for work tomorrow. And here I am writing on this site, hoping someone will respond and help me make sense of what's going on. I will keep you updated on further developments.